Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a good day so far. Rhonda Allison here. I live in Lubbock, Texas, cold Lubbock, Texas today, and I am super excited to share some information with you that has served me well over the years. I've actually been in the industry for 26 years, and even, my first 17 years of network marketing were part-time because I had other businesses, but I always took it seriously because I saw people making significant, crazy income without overhead and inventory, and I always took it seriously. Always went to the schools. We called it Success School back in my first company, and the conventions. I always went, even though that sometimes I wasn't making that much money. I always invested in my future success. And so, I was always, I guess, believed in the industry so highly. And I think I believed in it because I took it seriously. I knew it was a business that could pay me over time. I'm going to give you that encouragement if you made the commitment to go to our convention next month. I understand that some people would say, I haven't made enough money yet, or I need to make enough money to pay for it. But I'm just telling you, you want to get there and then you'll make the money to pay for it sometimes. Sometimes you have to invest in your business. And as many businesses as I've had over the years, I've always put a lot of time and money into them because I took them seriously. So I just want to give you that, and if you're part-time spare time and you just want to make a couple $100 a month, maybe you don't need to go. Maybe that's just not your jam. But if you are interested in getting even to Ruby, I would definitely say to make that commitment and to go and do whatever it takes to get there. So we are going to talk, well, first of all, I'm going to say we're going to give away a full-size product or a mystery swag today, but you got to stay on till the end. And we're going to announce somebody's name at the end. So what we're going to talk about today is what I really do consider the superpower of how to recruit. I have recruited, I think, like 120 people since I've been here. I have been here since March of 23. And I know one thing, that when you can share your story, it is going to be your superpower. And here's the thing about a story, is that it sets you apart from everybody else. Like, it is unique to you. Like, if you are out there trying to say my product's better than yours, my company's better than yours, and you're trying to recruit that way. And I get into those conversations sometimes, and I find myself like, oh no, I can't do that because you will not win. But here's how you do win, is to be uniquely you and to share your story, because nobody can compete with that. People can always say my product's better than yours, my pay plan's better than yours, and you just don't want to get into that conversation. So your story matters in so many ways, and I think that once you put your story together and it's short and concise, it not only recruits people, but it recruits you too every single day. So I'll share my story with you. When I started looking for, well, let me back up. Okay, in February of 23, I was $50,000 in debt because of my cancer treatments that were not covered by insurance. And I was desperate to find a way to pay those off. So I saw somebody posting on Facebook. I reached out to her. She shared a story with me. Somebody's sharing the screen. What is that? She shared her story with me, and she invited me to the testimony group. I saw 50,000 people sharing their stories, and I was so impressed that I got on a Zoom with Tina, and she introduced me to her upline. Mind you, I never saw an overview, but it was important to me who I was going to be in business with. I heard their stories, and that's really what sold me, the time that they took to share their stories with me. And 3 weeks later, I said yes. And on March the 6th in 23, I jumped in and I just did what they told me to do. I just started inviting people to the testimony group. And so I started sharing also where I was going. So guess what? I didn't have really a product story yet when I first got started. And I did not have an income story, but I shared somebody else's story. I said, hey, my business partner has been here 9 months and she made $150,000 her first 6 months. And this is not something I posted because you never want to post dollars on a post, but it was privately what I would reach out to people and say, hey, I'm partnering with this lady that made $150,000 her first 6 months. And that's where I'm going. That's what I'm trying to do as well. Would you like to take a look at what we're doing? So number one is here is where I was. So you want to start there, where you were. And you want to describe your life before you saw this. Here's the most important part: your struggles, your frustrations, and maybe what dreams you have you're not being able to achieve. But you got to be real and relatable. I don't know if you guys have heard Tina's story or not, but it's one of the most raw, real stories I've ever heard. And that story that many people wouldn't tell. But I'm telling you, Tina's who she is today because of her story and her relatable part of that story. And I will share this too. When I first started thinking about all this, it was really hard for me to say I'm $50,000 in debt. It was very hard for me to tell my cancer story. But somebody encouraged me to do that. And I figured out very quickly that people related to that and their ears perked up when I said, I had stage 4 cancer and I survived it. And then I ended up with all this debt. So here's where your story needs to be. Number one is here's where I was. And before I found this business, maybe could be your story. I was stuck in a 9-to-5 job that drained me. I was living paycheck to paycheck with no time for my family or any real financial security. You know, I work with a lot of people and coach a lot of people, and everybody has a different story. So it's different for everyone. Yours cannot be mine, and you can't share Tina's. I mean, you can't be her story. You have to have your unique story. So whatever it is, it's got to be the pain points of what made you want to make a change. Okay. So that's really, really important to get very real about your pain points. And it could be financially, it could be physically, it could be a lot of things, but just pull out that pain point. Number two is here's what I saw. So what I saw was Tina Joy Carroll posting. I saw her posting, and guess what I did? I reached out to her. So here's what I saw. So what made your eyes open to a new opportunity? Was it a conversation? Was it a social media post? Was somebody maybe shared it with you? One day I saw a friend post about working from home and earning extra income, and it got me to thinking, what if I could do that too? So number two is here's what I saw. Number three is here is what I did. Okay, what I did was I reached out to her after I saw that post. And you could say something like, and here's what action did you take? So let's just say you saw somebody's post and you reached out to them, and you could say something like, I decided to take a chance. I joined, I plugged into the training and started sharing the products and the opportunity. So what you did to move toward your goal is what you did. Okay, number four is here's why I'm excited. So you can maybe share if you want to say, even like let's say you're new, you could say, hey, first day I took that Mojo coffee. Oh my gosh, I had such a great day. It could be your first day story. It really could. Here's why I'm excited. It could be a lot of things. So you can also share, where you're going financially. It can be products, it can be, and you can kind of even mix products and opportunity if you want, kind of both put them on a little platter, so to speak, and offer both. And that's what I do consistently. I just say something like, this product line is so freaking amazing that I couldn't help but share it. You could say something like that. So here's why I'm excited. Number five is the other part. That's the hook, so to speak. Here's where I'm going. And I'll share this with you. A couple of weeks ago, Tina invited me to go into the Eric Worre Mastermind. And after hearing so many people talking and so many big income earners there, I really got to thinking, I am not I have not been very visionary. Like I know what I want financially, but I don't share it very well. So get very clear about where you're going. Paint a vision for your future, because when you start sharing your story and start repeating your story every day, like I said, you start believing it, you know. So people want to follow leaders with a clear vision. That's so very important. So you can even say something like, you know, my business partners at whatever, you know, 20,000 a month, they're diamonds in this company. That's the direction I'm going. I'm on a mission to help 100 families create financial freedom. And you could say something like, I see myself helping a lot of people travel, living a life on my terms, helping my team win. And what's the best part? I'm just getting started. You can come with me. So number 5 is here's where I'm going. And it's got to be very big picture thinking. And it's got to be at the end, I would like to take you with me. What do you think? Would you like to take a look? Let's have a conversation. Okay, so here's the thing about all this is you can't just write all that down. I mean, to write it, if you're creating it, write it down for yourself. But you want to send it to your business partner and make sure that, you know, it sounds good. You could even put it in Chat GPT if you want, which is amazing. And really, you know, fine tune that story. Now, my story can get longer. You know, if I'm going to be in a group of people and I know they need to hear a little more, I can have a 30-second story or I can have a 3-minute story, but you really got to fine tune that for who you are actually talking to. So, you know, so write that story, send it to your business partner, you know, fine tune it and practice it every single day. Practice your story, sharing your story, say it out loud, because I can get in an elevator, I can be anywhere and share my story because it's here. Like it's so ingrained in my head, my story about where I'm going here, that I can share it very quickly and I don't have to think about it because I practice it so many times. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we are going to take a few minutes using this framework. I want you to fill in the little spaces of your story. We're going to take 5 or 6 minutes doing that. And I want you to write down, number 1, here's where I was. And I will say this too, if you've been in this company for a while and maybe you've achieved some of your financial goals already, your story can be a little bit different than maybe it was 6 months or a year ago. So my story actually does change from time to time. You know, we hit diamond by our 7th month. So when we hit diamond, I didn't have to share Tina's story anymore. I started sharing my own story. So just know that your story can evolve all consistently. It can always evolve. Or if you see things differently at a certain time, you're like, oh, you know, I was shooting for ruby, but man, I can hit sapphire. And so you can consistently change that story. But fill in the gaps. Here's where I was. Here's what I saw. Here's what I did. Here's why I'm excited. And here's where I'm going. I want you to fill in those spaces with your own story. We're going to spend a few minutes doing that.
Hi, Rhonda. I just wanted to ask, we've got a few people in the chat that want you to repeat it, or if we can type it.
Did you? I thought Michelle.
I did. It's in the chat.
Is it all the way up?
Again.
Okay.
No, it's right there, but I can redo it again. But yeah, it's in the chat. There we go. Hold on. There we go.
Thank you.
And remember, you're not trying to sell here. Don't sell, just share. Share your story, your unique story. Don't try to sell. Don't try to throw in selling the products in there because that's not going to get you very far. People want to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And they don't want to do just business with a company. They want to do business with you, and they want to know who you are. So always remember that, to keep it very simple and keep it very authentic. And the end part, which is the hook, I could say it's the hook of where you're going. I'll just say this: if you're trying to recruit somebody, I always think about the law of the lid. You guys have read the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership with John Maxwell. One of the laws is called the law of the lid. And that just says that if you are 5 on the leadership scale, that it's really hard to recruit an 8. So you're consistently wanting to raise your leadership level so you can recruit higher level leaders, right? I mean, that's consistently what you're trying to do. And I've known this for a long time, that big leaders, let's just say somebody that's already made a lot of money in network marketing and you're trying to attract them. If you tell them you're only going for $1,000 a month, it'd be very hard to recruit someone that's made $10,000 a month. You want to try to share a story that's going to be, relatable to them. And, or you could say, I mean, I still use Tina's making $80,000 a month, y'all. And I use her story consistently because I'm not there yet. And guess what? If I'm talking to a big leader, I will say, my business partner has been here 9 months longer than me. She is making $80,000 a month here, because I needed that money story. And so you can use someone's story. If you're not where you want to be yet and you're talking to a big leader in this industry, you can share somebody else's story. Or let's just say you're talking to a stay-at-home mom that's never done network marketing. If you tell her your business partners make $80,000 a month, you are going to lose her. You've got to be a chameleon, and the story has to go along with who you're talking to. So if you're talking to someone, let's just say, that's never made any money in this industry, and they need some extra money, you could say something like, hey, one of our earliest ranks is $1,500 a month. And that's where I'm going. Would you like to know how I did that? Because it's going to be more relatable for somebody that has never done it before. So you got to remember who you are talking to and talk their language, because if you don't, you're not ever going to recruit them. I hate to say the word recruit. That just sounds so cold. But have them join your team and have them get on the road to changing their lives as well. Okay, so do you guys have any questions really fast? Is there any particular, if you do, you can unmute your line, because I'm not reading the chat. You can unmute your line if you have a question to ask. I would be happy to answer a question really fast.
I had one a little bit off topic. I typed it in the chat earlier. I got the invitations. I keep trying to join the Telegram chat for this group, and I can't seem to find it.
Okay, that link was in the agreement that we had. So get with, I don't know who's your sponsor, or if you're in another group on Messenger, but get with somebody there and
Okay.
get the link.
Thank you.
I think I have it. I can always put it in the chat too, if that helps, Anne.
Okay, so this Power of One training that we're doing this week, has been really interesting to me because I've seen people do a lot more than what they normally do. Concentrated amount of effort is a really powerful thing for getting what's called the big mo, which is momentum in your business, is where we all want to be. So I'm going to encourage you to do whatever you can today. If you have not shared if you don't have your story put together already, do that this morning before noon. Write your story. And if you have not shared that story with your prospects, I would go back and voice your story to someone. And you could go back to somebody in Messenger and say, hey, I've been sharing this product line with you. It looks like I haven't shared my story yet. I would write that, and then I would voice my story. And then I would invite them to the overview tomorrow night. Is what I would do. So I would do that in follow-ups today. And let's do that. For the 7 minutes, let's go to Messenger. And I would say most of us here are not new, that we've already been here for a while. And we've got a number of prospects in Messenger that we could reach out to. And I actually use my Messenger for my follow-up. I'm not very good about writing it down on paper, so I'll just scroll down and see what I've been saying to them, where I am in the process. And you just randomly say, hey, it looks like I have not shared my story with you yet. I would love to share my story. The other next part of this that you could do also is to say something like, hey, if you haven't heard my business partner's story yet, I'd love for you to hear her story. I'm going to create a group chat so you can hear her story. So, and your story is powerful, but guess what? One more story is really powerful too. So, if I'm somebody's on the fence and they're not making a move, I will go in and say, hey, you need to hear the story. I'm going to put you in a group chat with my business partner, and I want you to hear her story. And she's actually the reason I'm here. And it's very non-threatening to do that in Messenger. And you don't have to ask for permission. You don't have to say, can I? I never ask for permission, ever, because I know if they just get in that group message and they hear that story, they're going to be so glad they did. So, that's another layer of a story you can go towards if you're having problems recruiting somebody and their story maybe doesn't relate to them very much. Maybe your story doesn't, but maybe your business partner's story might. Two's always better than one. If you're trying to recruit, you always want to bring that third-party validation in, whether it be the ripple effect or whether it be your business partner.
I had
So
I'm sorry. I had a question. I was trying to wait till you were done speaking. About number 5, where here's where I'm going. You don't really want to say like the status or anything. How would you word a better way to word it? Like, you don't want to say, oh, I want to be diamond. That people don't know what that means. So do you have a better way to word where I'm going?
Sure. You could say our diamond level in our company is $17,000 a month. That's that kind of income that's where I'm going.
Thank
And
you.
you don't even have to call it a rank if you don't want to.
Right.
I mean, my goal in my head when I came here was 20,000. I want 20,000 a month as fast as I can get there. So that's kind of what I would say. Hey, I'm going after this. I did tell him it was a rank, actually, 20,000 a month, because I put my husband in the second position, and that made up the difference for 20,000 a month.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Rhonda, how do you answer the question when they ask?
Oh, you're muted, Louise. Unmute your line.
Sorry, there was another one that was off.
Okay. How do you answer the question when they ask you, well, how much are you making?
Okay, you know what? You got a lot of background noise, Louise. Okay, so number one,
that they played in action yesterday. The crew of Delta Flight 4819.
There, okay. So they will, from time to time, ask you what you're making. And here's always what you can say. I'm just getting started. I'm just getting started here. Even if you've been here 6 months and you're not where you want to be yet, you can say, hey, I'm just now getting this thing going. That overcomes that question. You will not have to answer it. And I wouldn't answer it. If you're not where you want to be, let's just say you haven't got past Jade and you're stuck there and you don't like it. I wouldn't even tell them. Don't tell them. Just say, hey, I'm just getting started and here's where I'm going. So you don't have to answer that question. If you're not where you want to be yet, you can just go right past it. Anybody have any questions? I'll share one more little tidbit with you that's a really good hack to getting past questions people ask you. I mean, people ask you all kinds of crazy questions, right? Like, is every product you have organic? Somebody asked me that yesterday and I'm like, I don't know. So what I said was, this is called the bulletproof shield. Write this down. It's called the bulletproof shield. If there's something that you don't want to answer, here's what you say. I don't know about that. Here's what I do know. That these products, and this is what I said, I don't know for sure, but here's what I know. We've got almost 160,000 people in a testimony group, and here's the link to check it out. It's called the Bulletproof Shield, and it will get you further faster without having to answer questions that you don't, because you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to answer that.
Rhonda,
I don't know about that, but here's what I do know.
I'm just going to ask you this one too, because I've heard a couple of ways with this going into the ripple effect. I'm trying this new way that you take and copy and paste, or you find something on the ripple effect, then take it over and put it into theirs and say to them something to the effect like, I saw this, I thought this might resonate with you. Tell me what you think. I'm going to check back with you. And I was also told not to wait for them to respond, but to give them like a day and then be like, hey, did that resonate with you? Did you like that? Or, some questions like, does that work for you?
Yeah, that's good. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's okay.
There's so
Thank
many
you.
different ways you can drip
Yeah.
on people. I call it dripping.
Yeah, same here.
Because, just like, it took me 3 weeks to say yes. I've heard the story, of Heidi and Chris Draper. They were, hit Black Diamond. It took them like 9 months to say yes. So I never give up on people. And I'm just consistently dripping on them. So yeah, you can go into ripple effect and even tag them in something. You can hold something over there. I've even sent pictures, before and after pictures. I have a lady on my team that's lost 83 pounds. I use her picture consistently. And so, you can find out. But the thing is to ask questions. That's the main thing, right? Find out what they're looking for. If they don't want to lose weight and you're sending them weight loss pictures, there's a problem there that you did not ask the right questions. And I've always said this, the person that talks the least wins. So if you can ask the questions, tell me what you're looking for. That should be one of the first questions when you in a conversation with someone. You could even ask, are you more interested in changing your income, adding more income? Are you more interested in products or both? You can ask those kind of questions and get them talk. I consistently ask people, tell me your major health concerns. And if they say, oh, I've got migraines, and I don't know what to tell them to get on. So I say, hey, go to Ripple Effect and search migraines in that search bar, and you are going to find all these stories. You just don't have to be an expert here. You just don't. And if you feel like you have to know all the answers to get started, you will never start. Or if you do, you're going to be way behind. So just get started. Does somebody want to share something?
I have a question. Oh, I'm sorry. You go ahead. I'll unmute, but I do have a question. I'll come back in.
Okay, sorry about that. My question is because I am brand, like I am new, so I'm crafting my story now. On one, here's where I was. I am I could tend to be a chronic overshare, so I don't really I know that you're supposed to keep this short and concise, but I've done different network marketing companies before, and so I kind of wanted to touch on that and how I feel like overall I was looking for a place to like fit in, and how, tying with like how I found my upline. And, I got busy asking. Like, I guess what I'm asking is, number one, like, how far back do you share it? Like, because I'm trying to get the story short and sweet, correct?
You could say something like, hey, I've always needed some extra income, and I've tried a lot of companies, but nothing's ever really been a perfect fit for me. So I was on the hunt to find a really great fit for myself. So you could say, I would not ever talk about the names of the companies unless
Okay.
unless you're in a really private conversation. But in your story, I would say, hey, I love this industry, and I've tried a lot of companies. And I had been on the search to find something that would really resonate with me, that would be a perfect fit, that they would kind of check all my boxes, and I finally found it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sherry from Washington State, and I started last year, July, for health reasons. I'm under Jennifer Dowd and Melissa. But I do have a question. The people that I'm talking with, and money's very tight, which we all know for everybody. And I know friends that'll go get those cards and apply to have all their body reworked for $15,000 and $20,000. And on here somewhere, I don't know if it was through Aaron, but you can apply for a card or something to help you get the product, or you apply for the card and they accept that now. Has anybody heard of that? It was real quick. I saw it a week or so ago, and it helps. It's like a medical card or a prescription card, and it will help you pay for these products. Does anybody know about that at all?
I think there are some like ways you can go get these little temporary cards, and
Yeah.
you're putting that in the chat.
Yeah, pay
It's
as
on
you
the
go.
legacy. Yeah, it's on the legacy makers. I'm putting in there too. I think it's the legacy makers training. Erin puts a lot of stuff in there. I just
Yes.
plugged it in there. Hopefully I spelled it right. But
Because that's awesome. That's piqued a lot of because we're like I'm in rural area, and it's pretty helpful. And then once they start building and learning, then they won't need it. But that's how I try to help them. It's like, well, your friend just spent, whatever, and she's all brand new, or the bariatric surgeries and stuff. But I just needed to touch base and see if anybody could help me with that. And thank you all so much. I appreciate it.
Here's one thing I'll share. I never trust Facebook to be my marketing tool. Like, I'll post on Facebook, but I don't assume I'm ever going to get any business from that. So I'm very aggressive in Messenger. Like, the money's in Messenger. I'm just telling you, I've recruited most of the people that I have. Even some of them were cold market that I reached out to have been in Messenger. And if you have, I don't know, I know Louise is on my team. I consistently look to help work and to help her. And I noticed, whatever, she had a number of Facebook friends. And I said, Louise, you got to get to 5,000 friends as fast as you can get there. Because guess what that gives you? It gives you more eyeballs to see your stuff. So, if you're less than 5,000 people, you want to consistently invite people to be your friend. I would just make a goal of 10 a day. Invite 10 people a day to be your friend. Because the faster you can get to 5,000, the more people are going to see your stuff. And you're probably going to have more following as well. So I'll give you that suggestion, even though, like I said, I don't really always assume I'm going to get business there, but it's free, for heaven's sake. And I've been in marketing for many years, and I paid a lot of money for marketing tools, but this is free advertising, and it just crazy to have less than 5,000 friends. Consistently stay up between 4,000 and 5,000 if you can, because that's going to give you more people.
Rhonda,
Uh-huh.
can I, sorry, I don't mean to be plugging in all the time, but I'm just going to let people know here, be careful doing that too. Like, don't do 10 all at once, because I actually got put in, you can't add any more friends for a few days, because I was, so do 10 throughout the whole day. Don't take an hour and do 10. Right. Otherwise, it won't let you befriend people. So right. I thought Facebook was a friendly place, but you can't be that friendly. So spread it out.
Mhm. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to give you some a little task today. If you have not done some kind of a video or a live on your Facebook wall today, I'm going to give you a little challenge to do that. And, you know, I have consistently also shared my story on my Facebook wall. And you never know who's watching. Like, you just don't. Like, I did not know Tina Joy Carroll. Did you guys know that? I did not know her. I only knew of her. And so, you know, if you're trying to catch a lot of fish, you want to throw out that net as far as you can throw it. And if you can go on and do a little short live and, you know, hey, I mix my little Activate up and just do my little share. Hey, I'm just drinking my Activate. I thought I'd drop in and share a story with you guys. And you know, you're gonna have some people see that. And what's interesting is you do that a number of times, and you're gonna have when you go to people and message them, they feel like they know you better because they've seen your face. So that's pretty important, I think, to do some lives consistently and to be out there and present your. I know Tina's always telling me I don't do enough, which I know I don't. So it is outside of my comfort zone. I'm just going to tell you to do all that. But I do know one thing: I am here, and my life has changed because somebody else is loud and proud, and I try really hard to emulate her and what she does as much as I can because I want the business she's got. And so I'm going to do that, what she does. And I'm going to give you guys some little encouragement too. If you're working with someone that maybe doesn't have kind of quite the vision you do, reach up in your upline and find somebody in your upline that does see things the way you do, that wants to move fast as you do. I'm going to just don't feel intimidated. There's not going to be somebody in your upline that can really lock arms with you. I've been in this industry a long time, and because of the times that I probably was the most successful were the times that I actually locked arms with a buddy and said, let's do this thing together. And it's so much more fun to have a buddy that you can bounce things off of and I guess report to every day and do Zooms with and things you can do together. It's a lot more fun to have somebody that's your working buddy. Oh, I know what I was going to say. When you're friending people, you know, I don't know, you know, what you have in your background. Let's just say you like dogs or whatever. Let's just say we're a school teacher, or like I've been in network marketing for a long time. So I'll go find, let's just say, a friend that I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, they're not my friend on Facebook yet, but they got 20 common friends with me. That's somebody I'm going to ask to be my friend because I'm not just randomly just picking somebody that we don't have any common friends with. So when I friend them and when they accept my friend request, I immediately go in Messenger and say, hey, thanks for accepting my friend request. It looks like we have 20 common friends. You must do network marketing too. Or, you know, whatever common thread you have with somebody, you pull that common thread in so they have relatability with you. That's how I expand my friends list all the time. And, you know, at some point, you know, let's say I know Louise was in Nerium. So she probably could go on some area and find a friend that was in Nerium and say, oh my gosh, we have 25 common friends and we were all in Nerium. And so, you know, that's something you could say, hey, looks like you were in Nerium. I was too. And that's something that's kind of long gone. But anyway, you know, if you were any previous companies together, that's always a conversation piece. Just a reason to get people on the phone. Okay, and then the one thing I'm going to share with you, and the other big recruiting tool I have besides, you know, the voice message is I will say, when can we get on a phone call? Because there's not very many times I've recruited people without a phone call. And I'm just going to tell you, if that intimidates you, just do it anyway. Just get started. I mean, it's the more relationships you have, the more money you make, and you've got to develop those relationships. If you're recruiting people without conversation, an actual conversation, I'm just going to be real with you. They're probably not going to stay in your business. You got to be able to get on the phone and have conversation with them so they trust you, they like you, they know you, and then you're able then to get them on that welcome call that's so very vital. But even if you're intimidated with that conversation, that conversation could just be your story. And then you say, hey, we have some common friends. Tell me a little bit about yourself. That takes the monkey off your back about what to say next. Tell me about you. People love talking about themselves. And so I do think that's kind of the thing. I mean, I can teach you all day long about how to share your story, but what's your next thing you're going to say to me? What's next, right? Is anybody confused about what you do next if you're sharing your story? Okay, let's take the next. Let's see, it's 11:43. Let's go to 11:53. And let's just do follow-ups. And if you if you're new and you want to start doing some reach outs, because we got like a lot of time between now and Wednesday night for an invitation. You can have a couple of 3 or 4 conversations with someone and then spring it on them. Hey, jump on this thing we're going to do tonight. So, you might kind of warm up the conversation by reaching out. And then between now and maybe noon tomorrow, you could pull in, hey, I just found out we have an overview tonight. I'd love for you to jump in and listen in. And, I'll tell you one thing about those overviews. People get on or they don't. But it's never like an indication. If I ask 20 people to get on and 10 say yes, and none of them show up, I'm okay with that. Because I always know I can send them the replay. Number one, I can send them a replay. And the next day is, hey, you missed a really good overview. Would you like to hear about it? Or you could say, hey, there was a story there or whatever. There was a school teacher like you. Never like be worried whether they're going to show up or whether they don't, because it's just all layers going towards your final goal, of course, is to get them to jump in your business. So let's just take the next few minutes and reach out. And then before we go, we're going to have a drawing.
Okay, I do have one question because I had someone, and it's funny that you say that because when you're talking about like never compare like network marketing companies and stuff, I actually just had a friend that I have been talking to about the business. I had sent her an hour-long overview, and she like kept saying she was going to watch it and didn't. So now that Erin has that 13-minute one, I sent it to her, and she just watched it. And so I was talking to her. I added her to the groups, both of the groups, and then she loved the overview, but she was like, how long have you been in the company? Are you making good money? And what makes it different from Q Sciences? So like, I don't know where to go with that, like, because I'm not gonna, like, one, I've never done Q Sciences, but two, like, I don't want to get into that thing, but I do want to answer her questions, but she's already in all the groups. So
Okay, so here's your bulletproof shield. She asked you, how does it compare to Q Sciences? I don't know. All I know is this Facebook testimonial group called the Ripple Effect grows every single day, and you got to check out these stories.
okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Now, people ask that all the time. How does it compare to so-and-so? How does the pay plan compare? Bulletproof shield, I don't know about that, but here's what I do know.
Hey, Rhonda, it's Rob.
Hi, hey, Rob.
Hey, sweetie. I wanted to piggyback off of your bullet shield. I love how you call it your bullet shield. That's so great. Most of us are savvy consumers nowadays. We don't make a purchasing decision based on hopes and dreams anymore, do we? Right? So that's kind of how I go into the conversation about our products. And that is exactly between 1 and 5 of of our story. And my story is through that 1 through 5, and I wrote it down.
So are you going to tell your whole story, Rob, from 1 to 5?
Oh, you want me to tell my story?
Yeah.
Okay. So I literally say to people, you know, back in 2021, I was a hairdresser working 5 to 6 days a week, 10 to 12 hours a day, arthritis in my right hand. And my dream was to build a salon with or build a dream home with my salon in it. So I wouldn't have to pay the $1,000 of chair booth rental to somebody else and I could put it towards my mortgage. But most hairdressers at my age of 48, you know, it's kind of like if you go back to school and you're 48 years old and you're like, I'm going to go back to school. Like, do you realize the amount of money you have to decrease in order to put the time and energy into your education, right? Most of us have homes, mortgages, cars, children, things like that we have to pay for. So it's really hard to not work and make money. And so, you know, in a long story short, my whole direction was I need to do something to make more income because on $150,000 husband and husband salary, I'm not going to build $1 million home with my salon in it on $150,000 a year with all the other bills I have. So I was looking for something else, and it happened to fall into my lap that I was doing stem cell injections under the direction of a physician, and somebody saw that this collagen glow, the original, would be something that could help solve other people's problems in the clinic. A take-home product that would prolong the experience or the procedure that we were doing on people already. And so I gave the bottle that she sent me in the mail, I gave it to my client who's a medical physician. And when she said, I love the ingredients, I actually would start taking this product. That opened up the opportunity for me to try the product. 5 days later, my right knee was completely pain-free. And I knew that I was talking behind the chair to people that had the same health issues as I was dealing with and all of the other people that I'm doing hair on. And so it just made sense to me to do my due diligence as a savvy consumer and go into the ripple effect. And I saw over 150,000 other customer testimonials of people having success with the same health issues that I'm talking to people about every single day behind the chair. And so that is kind of how I go through. That's my complete story. And I can do this in less than 2 minutes, right? But the ripple.
So where are you going?
I know, and that's the number 5. I've never said that, and that's like the golden goose of this, right?
Yeah.
So over time and consistency, as best as I could, I earned multiple 6 figures, and my direction is to show open-minded people how to duplicate what I did and wash, rinse, and repeat, right? So I want to show people the building blocks of how to become a 6-figure earner. You choose your paycheck. How much time and energy you want to put into this is up to you, but I'm going to show you the building blocks of how to create a business like that. And if you so choose to do it over and over and over consistently, then you potentially have the opportunity to earn 6 figures, your choice, right?
Right. And then does that interest you?
And does that interest you?
Part of that interests you, you know, they go, oh, the product sounds really good. You know, so you can say what really interests you.
What really interests you?
I'm interested in the money.
Perfect. Thank you.
So I think the vision casting is super, super important because people don't dream. They don't have any idea that they can make a 6-figure income on the side gig. They had no idea. So you got to be that vision caster and you got to say, hey, I've been able to do this. And here's where I'm going. I'm going to help a lot of other people do that too. And does that interest you? Would you like to know a little bit more?
Can I just ask Rob, where is your story? I put it in the chat because I have a hairdresser that sounds exactly like you. And I'm not never been a hairdresser, so I'm trying to relate with her, but I'd love Rob's story if there's a way to get it.
I don't know about you guys, but I think we need to do some calls, hairdresser calls, school teacher calls, coach calls, you know, particular nurse calls, you know, particular industry calls that we know that's the stories are gonna be there, and we can invite those people, give us a real concentrated group of people to go after, because it seems like, randomly, you never know what the stories are going to be, let's say on an overview, and you don't know if it's going to really relate to them or not. So it'd be super cool to do some specialized overviews, and even when we could record them and say, here's the nurse call, here's the doctor call, here's the this call, and have 5 or 6 really focused calls that you could use for particular occupations. And Rob, you can be in charge of the hair salon calls.
Sorry, I had a phone call coming in. Otherwise I was going to message our chat. So what I'm going to do a Facebook Live today, because this really got me motivated, because I haven't told my story in a long time. And so I'll do it quickly, and then I'll do an unlisted link on YouTube, and then I'll throw that in the comment section. So if anybody wants to just, steal that, later on today, I'll have that done before 2:00 Central Time.
Rob, you post products a lot, and that makes me want to buy products. But if I hear your story, that makes me want to join your team. So think about that. That's really, really important. The more you share your story and people know your story, which do you want? You want customers, you want associates to join your team.
Rhonda, can I give a tip about hairdressers?
Sure.
Okay, if anybody on here that wants to approach a hairdresser, I was a salon owner for 45 years. Collagen is going to be your best bet, because you can tell them, you get your clients on this, they need quicker retouches and more haircuts. Then also, one of those, things that are really bad for hairdressers, we have no retirement. There is nothing that we have that, unless you're building your own savings for retirement. So this is a good way to tell them, this is a good way to build a little nest egg for your retirement. And plus they all need the collagen, because their hands hurt, their back hurts, their feet hurts. We're standing, all day, all week, night long. So those are just some bullet points that you can throw out at hairdressers that you're trying to recruit.
Well, the other part of that is you can build a side gig income. It's like candy on the counter. It is like candy on the counter, because they're already there anyway. And if you're at a station and you're cutting their hair, here's what I'd be doing. I'd be having some really cool photographs, before and after photographs, with a QR code, my QR code right there. And I'm going to talk about glow while they're sitting in my chair. And I'm going to say, look at these pictures. Oh my gosh, this is the most bioavailable collagen in the market today. I'm really recommending this to all my clients. Here's a QR code. Get out your phone and just scan that, so you can take a look at what we're doing. So you don't, when you're talking to a business owner, they don't have to have inventory. That's a big deal. I came from having a ladies' clothing store for 15 years. Every single time I want to introduce a product line in my business, it is $1,000 at least for me to bring in something new. This is like zero inventory. You can build a business on zero inventory and just have your little pictures. Like I actually created this picture for my nail place, and I had their little QR code there and some pictures about the collagen. And I had some pictures of hair growth with their QR code. And then I had this collagen picture with, and I just got these little 99-cent frames at Walmart and just printed this out on my home printer. But that's a simple way, and if you've got a hair salon person that's your friend, you could say, hey, I'll put some things together for you, because they're busy. Hey, if you could do that for them even, and you can and you want to, that would be really helpful. The QR code is the ticket though, because they get their phone out and you just like scan it for them. Since they're sitting in your chair, you just go scan it for them and hand it to them. And then, they'll have your website as well. There's a whole thing about recruiting business owners. I'm just here to tell you, there is a huge market for people that own businesses, because they have the clientele and they may even have an email database. And this is candy on the counter for them because they already have the business and they just need more money. Like this last year was probably the worst income year of most retail businesses that they've ever had. And they're open to it. And the cool thing too is like when I had a ladies' clothing store, I expected salespeople to walk in my door. I expected a phone call to say, hey, I've got this thing I want to sell you. Can I come by? And guess what? I said, yes, come by. I'll look at it. And so if you're, in an area and you've got some friends that have salons, just give them a call and say, hey, I've got something in my hand. Take a couple of bottles of Glow. I've got something that I'd like to show you. Can I come in? And present it to them, and that because they are open to appointments, they're used to that. It's not like they're not, because they take appointments all the time for salespeople. So if you've got a friend and you want to have your friend come over and y'all practice together, what would I say if I walked in a salon to try to get an appointment? That's an easy thing to do. And there's a whole market there that can open up some doors for you to grow business too.
Okay, hey, Kristen again. So speaking on that, I actually have my sister owns a salon. So I just got her started on Activate and Mojo because they have a Starbucks like right beside them and they drink that trash all day long. And sometimes you will drink that and not have any time to do anything. Anyways, about the QR code. So how would I go about like introducing that to her? Because see, she just become a client of mine, but if I could actually get her in this month and she likes her product, she could do a discount. I could get the QR code set up for her and then get her and all of her 5 people that are with the salon with her and maybe get all them signed up under her, and then they could all have their own QR code for their clients, right? So
Sure.
how would I do the QR? I've never done that.
It's when you log in, it's right there.
Like on the collagen?
No, your web back office, your QR code is there. It'll take them to your website.
Okay, so I would have to get her signed up and then print her QR code out, and the same thing for all of her friends.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. Okay, Michelle, I'm going to let Michelle announce who won the gift, and it's either going to be some swag or a full size product.
Okay, let's see. Elaine Warner.
Okay, Elaine, I need your address. If you will either send it to Tina, Joy Carroll, or if you want to put it in the chat thread, and I'll let you copy that, Michelle. Okay, we have got tonight a training that you do not want to miss. I know it's going to be so good. And I just want to give you a little bit of encouragement to do every single thing you can to really participate into this power of one. And you'll be shocked at the end of the week and I know it's sometimes it feels a little like it's a lot, and it is. Do a lot this week. And then you will see your business really, really start to blow up. And you'll really see the power of one and how that's going to help your business duplicate. So did we get her address, Michelle?
No, I haven't seen it pop up in the chat. Elaine, if you want to message Tina Joy Carroll or Rhonda Allison on Facebook Messenger, your address, and then we'll make sure to get that right out to you.
Thank you guys so much.